Here is the trailer for the documentary.
January 6th started off pretty much like any other day. It wasn't until I started listening to the speeches that I felt that day was going to be a bad day.
I work in what should be one of the most secure buildings in the whole world.
It just never occurred to me that a mob would get into the Capitol building.
It was soccer ball, truck drivers, it was America.
Pepper spray started coming out, gas grenades started going off, just broke into pure anarchy.
Everybody was making a call to someone, the last phone call. I just started to pray.
And they were all yelling, "You are traitors to your oath, enemy of the people." It was like, how fucking dare you? 40 or 50 officers battling 15,000 people.
Hey, welcome to KSOK Uncensored. Happy to be here on this very rainy day here in the Pacific Northwest. When will it end? Well, we've got a couple weeks ahead. Gosh. Meanwhile, I am right here with you guys tonight with an amazing guest who is from the Portland area as well, which is always fun. We have Quincy, who's going to be joining us here shortly. I am currently in YouTube jail, so welcome to all of my viewers that we are gaining from other portals that are just coming to find out about Right America Media. So I'm so excited that we have grown and that we have so many more people that are non-YouTubers joining us. So welcome and thank you. Want to talk about a few things. One, RAM TV, Right America Media, is in San Antonio this weekend, and we are going to be airing a lot of lives that are coming from the Reawaken America tour, right? So really good speaking events, some great people that are there, definitely worth tuning into. And so be looking out for that. I know I personally wish I was there, and I can't wait to attend one sometime the next couple months. That said, we have a 30-minute show for you here today. I want to go ahead and bring in our guest. We have Quincy here. He also goes by the BC Preacher. And again, from the Portland area, just like myself. Welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, this is actually your second time on KSOK Uncensored. First time with me. You were on when I had Ben Edel, who was my guest host. So that's really cool. I actually forgot about that until today. So thank you for the last appearance you did as well.
You're welcome, of course. I always enjoy it. So thank you guys very much.
Oh, absolutely. How are you holding up in the endless rain here in the Portland area?
Yeah, I'm holding up. I'm used to it. I'm a native, so I'm used to it.
Yeah, same here. Same here. You know what, though? I'm just like, today it was really wearing on me. You know what's funny, though? I was watching one of your recent videos and I could hear the rain. I think you were in your car and the rain was in the background. I'm like, yep. Like, you
Definitely
know,
Oregon.
Northwestern. Yeah, it's like you just can't avoid it right now. Oh, anyway, so happy to have you on. So I want to talk about something. One, I don't have HBO Max, so I was super bummed that I didn't get to watch the full segment that we just saw the intro for. But I am super curious how you were able to get involved in that and how they got in touch with you.
You know what? I don't know how they got in touch with me. I didn't ask because it was around the time when so many people were trying to get my footage and people was using my footage and all sorts of companies were reaching out to me. So it just happened to be it was one of those companies that actually emailed me. And so we just started talking, and so that's basically how it came about.
That's really interesting. That's a good point. I forgot that you had a lot of really good footage that you had put out there. And that makes sense that they were in contact with you. Can you talk to us? So for those of us who haven't seen it, and sadly that includes myself, can you talk to us about the segment that airs? And I think is it like an hour-long special?
It's about an hour and a half. Yeah, the special is about an hour and a half.
Okay. And what
So
can viewers
so as far as I know, it's on HBO. Other than that, I don't know how people can view it.
right?
Um, so that's the unfortunate part. Like either you have to have a subscription for HBO or have cable or whatever to view it.
Yeah.
At this point,
Yeah.
Have you? I'm assuming you've seen the full thing.
I saw the full thing. I actually got sent a link a couple hours before it got released to the public, so I got to actually see it just a little bit before, about an hour before it actually aired and came out.
How do you feel the final came out?
Um, I've talked to some other streamers, and they said that there's pieces that they didn't put in there coming from their perspective and things that they said. So I'll put it this way: they interviewed me for 2 hours,
Okay.
and I'm only in it talking for 40 seconds.
Oh wow. Jeez.
So there you go. So there's a
That
lot
is
that's missing.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't chop
Oh,
shop your bit though, right? Like at least it wasn't like they painted a narrative with what you did say.
no, they didn't paint no
Okay.
narrative what I did say. I mean, obviously, after me seeing the whole footage, all of it, let's go back a little bit because we actually did the interview in April.
Okay.
They flew me out to DC for a day, and I did the interview there in a like a condo, and they had all their lights set up and everything. And I did record it, so I do have the full interview. Um,
Oh, smart.
yeah, yeah. So I have the full interview just in case they was going to do something funny and make me look stupid, make me look bad or whatever. So
Right.
I did record it. And then as time went on, it got around September, and they started reaching out to me. But by that time, I started hearing, there has been time since January 6th and September. And I started doubting it. I was like, man, I don't know if I really want to be in this because more truth was coming out, more things about, January 6th was being released and exposed. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to be in this. And
Right.
so they kept emailing me, and I was just like kind of ignoring it for a while.
Yeah.
And I finally got back a hold of them. I said, I'm not comfortable about, with myself being in this. I don't know how you guys are going to spin this. I don't know how you guys are going to use it. And so they said, well, we can send you the segment of your piece and the footage that we're using. I was like,
Okay.
okay. So they sent me the stuff. And even then I was still like, I don't know, because they wasn't sending me the complete hour and a half. They were just sending me my part. And I'm like, even with my part, just seeing my part without the full context, I'm like, I don't know. And then they said, well, what about this, or what about that? And I said, okay, I'll do it. And so I did it, and I'm not disappointed that I did do it, especially once I saw and heard that other conservative uh, conservative streamers and reporters were in the documentary that I personally knew, and other footage of. So the thing about it is, they did this whole thing with mostly conservative. I'm not going to say just conservative streamers, but
Right.
phone footage.
Okay. Very
Yeah.
interesting. I
It
like
it was
that.
it was very interesting. Yeah, it was very interesting. It was well put together, and
That's good.
and the parts that they used on me was, I mean, they didn't twist my words. It was basically me telling them what I saw, which it's the truth.
Right. No, I think that's great that
So
you're able to be a something like that. I totally get your concerns that you had with it.
yes.
We all know fake news. We all know how the media spins things, and especially with
Hmm.
such a hot button topic like that. Yes, I'm very happy that it came out the way it did. And I just thought of it. My mom has HBO Max. I will be crashing on her couch for a few hours so I can watch that. Which I would have remembered that sooner, but anyways, no, it sounds great. I watched the trailer, but I just wasn't able to watch the
Hmm.
whole thing. But I
Right,
think that's
right.
great that you're able to be a part of it. How is life right now for you? Obviously, that was what, 9 months ago, 10 months ago
Yeah,
here. Um,
yeah.
how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Actually, I'm still. Actually, I was supposed to be down in San Antonio this weekend for the reawakening. Will
Oh,
Johnson, who I have a show with, and I do a show with him and two other fellas on Wednesday nights called The Now. Um, he's actually down there. So I was actually supposed to be in San Antonio for the reawakening conference this weekend, but just because of finances and stuff, I wasn't able to make it. But
yeah.
I do know there's one coming up in December, I believe. So I'm going to try. I'm going to shoot for that one. There's also a Turning Point event coming up in December. So I'm just trying to get to as many events that I can get to. Um, I'd like to get back to Kenosha, to be honest with
Oh,
you. Come
yes.
next weekend. Yeah. So
When were you there? I've been watching bits of the trial, but
mhm.
when were you in Kenosha?
I didn't go to Kenosha the first time. A couple of my buddies
Okay.
did. I personally didn't go the first time, so I'd like to go coming
Great.
up. I think they're going to call the verdict like probably on Tuesday.
Oh wow. This is gonna be really wild. As you likely know, my husband's a Portland police officer, and we're like,
Hmm.
the Antifa, the idea group Antifa, they're already calling for, just complete destruction, worse than following George
Yeah.
Floyd's passing. So it's like, wow. But this one, unlike, what happened
Y-
with Derek Chauvin, um,
hmm.
this one is looking good for Kyle Rittenhouse. And so,
It is.
which is great because I personally feel that he's justified. That's my personal opinion, that he was justified. But that said, it's tough not to think of the ramifications. I mean, it is what it is. We want him to have the justice he deserves, but
Right.
wow, what's gonna
Yeah.
unfold following is gonna be
Well, yeah,
wild. So
yeah, and yeah, I think that's the thing. What's going to unfold afterward, and there's a couple things. There's already been protesters outside of the courthouse already.
okay,
There's been pictures been taken of the jurors, and the judge had to
oh,
address that. So there's things already in the works of being ramped up. So
right,
we'll see how it goes. Here's what I'm hoping for, because January 6th, I think it really, between January 6th and obviously the inauguration and election and everything, I think it really made us feel defeated as far as
right,
conservatives and patriots. And
absolutely,
then right, and then you have the Derek Chauvin thing, which another almost like another hit. Now you
right,
have this where now it looks like Kyle Rittenhouse could possibly win. I'm
right.
hoping if he does win, it kind of rejuvenates people and gives people some more hope.
Right. Right. No, I completely know where you're coming from. We do need that. I feel like we felt that, a lot of us, after Virginia. It was like
Hmm.
a temporary rejuvenation for sure.
Yeah.
And then the New Jersey, and it's just like one of those, your shoulders are hanging again, because it's just like, here we go again, and nothing's
Right.
gonna come.
Right.
But I agree with you. It would be wonderful to see Kyle with justice. And
Hmm.
I have to remind myself, he was 17 when this took place. He is a boy. I mean, yes, technically, legally, he's a man, right? But man, that
Right.
is so much to be used as a political pawn at such a young age. Wow, it's wild. So I completely agree with you. I am absolutely hoping for the best, and like you, I could really use that win for the good guys, because we have been beat down time and time
Yes.
again.
Yeah.
And especially, you know what? I think people in red states, now this is not a hit on those people, but they have no idea. I mean, they feel what's happening as a nation, they feel it. They have no
Hmm.
idea how it feels, to actually be somebody living in a state such as, the Portland area of Oregon and Washington, California, like these heavy liberal states. Um, People in these free states, they're kind of just floating around. I'm not even kidding. Like, they're pissed about things that are
Right.
happening, but it's
Right.
nowhere near. Every time I put a mask on, I feel just like deflated, and um and it's just the whole atmosphere that's been created. And just, I don't wear a mask unless I'm going to the doctor or on a plane because I'm
Hmm.
trying not to get
Yeah.
arrested. But it's just one of those things. It's just, we could really use that boost, morale boost right now. Um, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I have to call out, I
I,
love your
I
hat. Is that part of your merch that you sell?
it is part of my merch. Yes, it is.
Love it. Can you tell people where to find you so they could buy some of your merch? I love
Man,
your stuff.
so my merch, the website is on American Streets, onamericastreets.com. You can find all my merch there. Plus, all the ways to get a hold of me on my social media platforms, YouTube. I have actually two YouTube channels, Facebook, of course, uh, Twitter, Instagram, Rumble. So,
You're
um,
everywhere. I love it.
yeah, yeah.
I love
I'm
it.
trying to get
I
on
just had
Getter,
to
so
say,
I'll probably be on Getter soon. So
oh, right, right.
yeah,
Yeah, you know what? I had signed up for that initially, and then I never did anything with it. I think it was just like overwhelming how many different sites, but I am working on
yes,
expanding. Just now set up
yeah.
Rumble, but no, that's great that you're so many places. And then, how do people find? Is it BC Preacher?
Yes, for all everything, the BC Preacher. My main biggest
Okay.
platform at this time is YouTube, but Facebook
Okay.
is right behind it. So here's the thing, Facebook, I got deleted off Facebook on July 5th. I had
Whoa.
63,000 people follow me on Facebook,
Wow.
and they wiped my page off. Had
Oh
to
my
restart
gosh.
it. So I'm up to 14,000 right now. My YouTube is
Wow.
at 15,000.
Wow. Wow. No, that is such a hit. That is so frustrating. Um,
Yes.
I feel you. As I said, I'm in YouTube jail. I got to 20,000 subscribers on YouTube in 4 months when I first started, and I've officially been shadow banned for an entire year, and I
Hmm.
have not grown a single. Actually, they've dropped a few of my followers, or
Of course.
subscribers. So it's frustrating for sure, but I'm feeling like I'm in YouTube jail, so it's like a perfect segue to say screw them. I'm looking for alternate channels for sure.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so it's been like, it's kind of like when that door shuts. Now I'm like, all right, I'm forced to go down some others. But I want to
Right.
talk. All right,
Right.
let's talk Portland real quick here. I know I have so many people. It's like she talks about Portland all the time. Portland gives me so much material. It never ends. I mean, it's just
Yes.
crazy right now. So I'm sure you've seen the reports just recently that the Portland Police Bureau is short 800 police officers. And they're actually, I believe the numbers were from the 70s. They were pulling that we have like, what was it, like 200,000 more people living in Multnomah County than they did 30 years ago. Yet we have less officers on the streets. And we've been compared to Denver as far as size, like populace,
Mhm.
but we have half
Okay.
the police department. And so it's just like we're so under policed. Um, do you think Portland, as we know it, is dead? Dead on arrival?
First of all, I didn't know about those reports. I
Yeah.
can notice and look around and see that the police are understaffed, and I obviously know what's happened over the past year as far as defunding the police and revamping this and trying to revamp that and make changes. So I've known that, but I didn't know about that report.
Yeah.
Regarding where Portland's at, I'm not going to lie. I've lived here all my life, and this is the first time in my life being in Portland that I have felt like it's it's sad here. It is almost depressing. And maybe part of
Right.
that's because I've been traveling to different states and seeing different rallies and seeing people's um, their attitudes and just the atmosphere in different places. And maybe that's why. But
Yeah.
really, to answer your question, I personally do think it's dead. I think
Yeah.
it's done. Um, I've been wondering if it's kind of intentional, if they maybe have some sort of plan to gentrify all downtown and make it vibrant
Right.
again or something. I don't know, but it's very desolate downtown.
Right. It really is. I've heard people say that they think that they are driving the police force down, like they're not doing anything about the diminishing police numbers and the skyrocketing crime because they want to make it a police state. so that it's like federalized policing. And
Mm,
there are a lot of people that think this is all just part of the grand plan, and the West Coast is really like the testing ground for this. I don't know. I don't know. I don't put anything past anybody anymore. Like literally, it's
right.
all fair game for me. I didn't used to be that
Hmm.
way. Um, I don't know.
You know, it's
Some
interesting.
cases,
It's interesting you say that because I could actually see this place being like a ground zero for that because just because of our local government and they've made this place so it's so liberal and so dark here. I mean, this is the
right?
we was talking about the rain earlier, and
Yeah,
again, me traveling and like this place really is dark. I've never thought about it like that,
right.
but this place really is dark. You have rain 9 months of the year and gloominess. It's a perfect cocktail for the whole mental liberalism thing that takes place, because a lot of these liberals, especially the people who are the activists, they have a lot of mental cases, a lot. And it's pretty sad. It's very dark here. I mean, not just because of the weather, but just the environment, the atmosphere, the
Right.
spirituality that's here is very dark.
It is. You know what's crazy is I'm trying to remember why I was even driving into Portland the other day, but I was driving into it and I was like, this is a very oh, I know why. I got my eyebrows tattooed on the other day. And anyways, TMI. But yeah, so that was fun. And it was off of Burnside. So I was like, ooh, but I was driving in and I just thought about I'm like, this is like the true sin city. Like it feels like just a very just rich, full of like just satanic vibes. And I know that
Yes.
sounds nuts, but it's just full of sin. And
Yeah.
and that you're right, the weather, it just puts that spin on it because it's people naturally they feel down with this type of weather. And then you throw in all the oppression and all of
Yep.
the asinine leadership that we're dealing with and the police shortage and the crime increasing and the I mean, it's just like it is the perfect
Yeah.
recipe, like you said, for like a ground zero. Like it is bad news here. And you know what? That police report, that was actually it was on three of our local news stations here in Portland. So it wasn't even like
Wow.
something like I was surprised. It was mainstream. And
Hmm.
I was really surprised that they were that forward about the what's happening as far as crime and policing. Um,
Right.
so yeah, so that was an eye opener, and I have to tell you, I go into the tattoo place, and the lady just screamed Portland, right? Like she's like totally just tattoos everywhere, had the dyed black hair, um, dressed like a total Portland hipster, you know. And so I
Hmm.
was like, okay, all right, all right. And so we get to talking, and she's super middle of the road, and she was like, oh yeah, no, she's like, you totally thought I was like this raging liberal. And she's like, no, I'm not. And she's like, you'd actually be so surprised at the people I talk to here is there's actually a lot more people that are on your side, on our side than you think. They're just afraid to stand
Wow.
up and say. Um, but yeah, so that was really interesting. And my husband drove me because again, it's Burnside. I was like a little freaked out by the area. So
Hmm.
so anyways, he drove me. So he was there with me and she was thanking him for his service so it was really cool.
Wow.
Um
That is.
and I totally judged a book by its cover. Like I will totally admit that. I was like, oh,
Mhm.
libtard. You know what I mean? But
I've done it. I mean, you can't help it being here in Portland. It's
right.
almost natural that just comes out because even like you're saying, even people who are middle of the road, and I've even seen
Yeah.
people who are conservative, but they still have that hipster liberalism look. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
with you.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so funny. So I got a little it was good. It was a good eye opener. That
Yeah.
there's people in hiding, right? They're hiding in plain
Yes.
sight.
You
But
you
that's the
know what?
problem.
That's
That's a whole other show.
exactly, and that's to be honest, that's probably one of the most frustrating pieces for
Yes.
me is going around. I mean, I went to Vegas last Friday, and I kid you not, 3,000 people out on the strip protesting and standing up against the tyranny that's taking place. And I come back home to Portland, and everybody's on their keyboards, and they're all talking about being patriots and this and that, but you get 150 people out to rallies, and
Right.
most of the people are people that the media wants to demonize. They
Right.
wear
No, you're so
a
right.
couple different colors, right? And so they demonize them. And then I'm like, where's the rest of the patriots who are always online typing, or just
Yep.
are afraid to come out, and they don't come out
Yeah, exactly. The
at all.
keyboard warriors. I know. Well,
Yeah.
hey, I think you mentioned that you might be going in December, and I've just been talking with production about potentially going in. I think it's like December 10th, 11th, 12th. So I may see you there if you're able to put it together. That would
Yeah.
be awesome to connect and
Yes.
interview some of the same folks or each other. But yeah, that would be great. And again, that's the Reawaken. I don't know.
Hmm.
Sorry, I said tour like it's like a concert series, but
Well,
but
okay, so what? They are actually trying to come here. They just need a building, like a church building that can hold that many people, but they are actually trying to get up here to Portland area.
okay, that's exciting. I
So,
had heard rumblings about Bend, Oregon, but then
okay,
the only thing I thought of though, I was like, that's a lot of snow, and there is not an airport right there. I mean, there's a small airport, but yeah, if they
right.
could get something in the Portland area, oh my gosh, that would be
Mhm. Yeah.
amazing. So we'll have to.
Here's the problem though. There's so many churches, because that's where they prefer to go to as a church. There are so many churches that do not want to get political, which I think is shame on them. But
Right,
that's my
absolutely.
opinion.
Well, that actually, I'll talk to my sister. I have to wrap this up, but I have to talk to my sister because she's heavily involved in church communities in Vancouver. And I know a lot of them, they're recovery churches, and they don't give a rat's ass what people think about them, which is
Good,
gorgeous. I
good.
love it. So I'll talk to her about it, and we can see if we can. I'll get in touch with you on some potential locations because you're
Okay.
right. There are too many churches that care way too much about what people think versus just doing the right thing for the people. Again, thank you so much for coming on.
Of course.
We have so much we could talk about, so much more than 30 minutes. I would love to do this again, and I really hope that maybe we can connect in Dallas in December. That would be awesome.
That would be.
All right, cool. Thank you, Quincy.
Thank you again
Always
for
a
having me on here.
pleasure.
You're welcome. Yes.
And people
Thank you
go
very
look him
much.
up. Please go follow him. He's someone I look up to, and just really amazing that we were able to have you on again tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. After me, we have the Blue Family Unit or Blue Family Unity, excuse me. And then after that, we have the Loaded Mic, and then a special airing, and that is the Fides. I believe it's Latin, and I love to slaughter anything, but the Fides Project, and that's a really cool really cool listen. It's a different approach, which I really like. So please tune in, watch the rest of the shows we have, and then also don't forget that we are partnered with MyPillow, and we have our own code RAM, 60% discounts right there on the screen. We have our own phone number. If you're doing it online, use that RAM code. It tracks back to us, and you get that really nice discount. Thank you again for tuning in to KSOK Uncensored. I look forward to seeing you next Thursday.